to state.
You got to pass 3 gates just to get to the house.
I just thought there'd be all sorts of Burberry up in the various closets.
The Cohen estate.
I mean, how dare you? What kind of personal comment is that you would make to me? I'm more of a Louis guy anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. Drippin' and Louis. So Evan may have lost his identity. Let's find out if some of these head coaches around the NFL may lose their job. Shall we, gentlemen? It's time to do a heat check. How hot?
Well, I like Jimmy Butler. I would take the... Not that heat.
Not that heat.
Oh, God.
Not that
a little?
I like that move a lot.
Heat check?
Yeah. Join me never for a conversation on that.
Correct. And that's talking Miami Heat here on Unsportsmanlike. All right, heat check. How hot is the seat, gentlemen? Let's start with you, CC. Coming off that rough loss last night, Doug Peterson, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh, that sucker is on broil right now. You know how you said the oven to broil? Yeah, that seat is hot down there in Jacksonville. I mean, listen, Trevor Lawrence is not helping the cause, and he's going to get a lot of criticism after the shiny new contract. But, I mean, a part of the responsibility when Doug Peterson took the job in Jacksonville is making sure you get the most out of the quarterback because he was the #1 overall pick and viewed as a generational talent. The fact that Trevor Lawrence hasn't turned the corner and hasn't been able to build on that playoff appearance, playoff win that he had in 2022 is starting to feel like an indictment on Doug Peterson. Even though it might not be fair, I think he's sitting on one of the hottest seats in the National Football League going into Week 4.
I would say Doug Peterson's hot seat. How hot is it? Dave Canales hot. That's how hot it is. Not that Canales is getting fired. I'm just saying that right now.
We don't know that he's not.
No, but that wasn't what I was talking about.
That owner is never
that's
met a
true
coach
too.
that he don't want to fire.
Seriously, he's probably sitting on his hands right now, not sending out the text.
I have to be real clear about this and I love Trevor Lawrence. I did. Trevor Lawrence is about to get Doug Peterson fired.
Ugh.
Let's be clear on that.
Yeah.
Right? Urban Meyer contributed to the regression in Trevor Lawrence as a player. Trevor Lawrence will contribute to the demise of Doug Peterson as a head coach. He will now have a fired coach on his resume. Josh Allen has Ken Dorsey on his resume, but he's not a head coach. Right? I mean, let's be honest. Players help coaches get fired.
Bold prediction, Doug Peterson doesn't make it to Thanksgiving.
Oh, my gosh.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, they got the Houston Texans up next. Not great because the Texans got embarrassed in Minnesota. And then before their bye week in Week 12, they have a stretch of 4 games with the Packers, at the Eagles, the Vikings, at the Lions. Good luck, God bless, and good night.
I don't know how I became the Doug Peterson defender on this show. Justice for Doug Peterson. He got a raw deal with the way things ended in Philadelphia because of the power struggle over the quarterback with Howie Roseman. This is a guy who won a Super Bowl with the Eagles with Nick Foles. He goes to Jacksonville after the Urban Meyer disaster that left them 4-11. He turns them around in a year to have a winning record at 9-8. He has chemistry with Trevor Lawrence. This is a good coach. You defend Mike McCarthy all the time, Evan, and I respect you for it, and I agree. And I feel like now I'm the Doug Peterson defender because this is more on Trevor Lawrence than it is on Doug Peterson as far as I'm concerned. All right, Evan, let's go back to you.
I'm just looking at Burberry.
The Burberry hoodie is on
Did
fire.
you find one?
The Burberry hoodie is on fire.
My sister seems really busy. She's texting me plaid hoodies. Go ahead.
Did you find one that you like?
For $535, guess what I'm not buying?
Pretty expensive.
You don't say.
All right, Evan, heat check. Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals. How hot is that seat?
I don't think so for a myriad of reasons. I think he proved he's pretty damn good last year when he didn't have Joe Burrow, and he went to a Super Bowl. Yes, I know he has an overall losing record, but when have the Bengals been the team to fire a coach with years left to spend the money on somebody that doesn't work there? I don't think it's as hot as everybody else does. I actually am on board with Zach Taylor for now.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Marvin Lewis was the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals for 16 years, didn't win a playoff game. They ain't fired him. Zach Taylor took the Bengals to the Super Bowl, and then the following year to an AFC Championship game. He's safe.
I think he's safe as well. He's a really good coach. All right, CC, your New York Giants, Brian Daboll. Hot seat?
Ooh. I don't know. After the win that they had last week against the Cleveland Browns, after an auspicious start, I think they'll be okay. I think Brian Daboll is okay for now. The ownership for the New York Giants are trying to change the narrative around the dysfunction that has marred the franchise over the last decade plus, and that's including being in this cycle of hiring and firing coaches every 2 years. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to do that with Brian Daboll. I think they're going to stay the course with him. Now, things could change if they get embarrassed at home on Thursday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys, who's a team that's reeling and trying to find themselves. But barring, an overall lack of competitiveness, I think Brian Daboll will be safe.
I agree, unless Bill Belichick makes it known that that's the job he wants. That to me is the only way I would say otherwise.
I mean, this is a situation now where I feel like Malik Neighbors might save Brian Daboll's job, kind of like Odell Beckham Jr. for a couple of years saved Tom Coughlin's job.
No doubt.
And let's be honest. Let's cut through some of the fat on this one. You're of the belief, as a former Giant, that there is a quarterback the Giants will target. And he is not eligible to be drafted until not this upcoming draft, but the next year.
Yes.
Arch?
Yeah, 2026.
Right, so there's no point of actually having that not lined up if you're going to make that decision long term.
Okay, so we think Brian Daboll is safe. What about Nick Sirianni, Evan? Philadelphia Eagles, we talked about him a lot.
Okay, so what's the hottest version of hot?
Scalding?
Then I was even thinking people-wise, like Michael B. Jordan, Brad Pitt. Is it Christina Aguilera and MGK last night together performing? Whatever the hottest version of hot is, that is Nick Sirianni.
The hottest? That's a great question. The hottest version of hot. Let me think about that.
Like, I watched Christina Aguilera and MGK last night, and I'm like, those are talented, good-looking people. That's hot, whatever's going on there. That's Sirianni. What else do you want me to say?
No, I mean,
are you thinking of a hotter version of hot?
Yeah,
no, I was
Jay-Z, Beyonce? I mean, what are we thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
That's funny. That's funny.
That one just
She was
slipped out.
like, let's just pull that one back. So I'm like, no, I can't top that. Yes, to everything you said, yes. Nick
Klay
Sirianni.
Thompson in the third quarter against the Thunder in 16.
The Eagles are getting the right result, but they're not getting there the right way. And I think some of the coaching gaffes that we've seen from Nick Sirianni will ultimately end up making him an easy target and present Howie Roseman with an opportunity to upgrade.
Totally agree. Hot seat. All right, last one, and probably the most challenging one. Mike McCarthy, Dallas Cowboys. You mentioned Bill Belichick. If he wants the Giants job, maybe that sways their thinking on Brian Daboll. What do we think about Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys and that hot seat, CC?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be hard for Mike McCarthy to get a new contract with the Cowboys. Now, they don't have to fire him. They can just let the contract expire. This is his last year. But based on where the Cowboys are at right now and all the noise around that franchise, I don't see how Mike McCarthy survives this season. I don't see how he ends up being the coach for the Dallas Cowboys beyond 2024.
Wait, I don't mean to go semantics on you, but I want to clarify. When you said I'm not sure how he survives this season, as in season or after the season?
After the season.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to fire him during the season.
So right now,
but I think they will let it be known that they are going to move in a different direction at the end of the year.
I am now convinced that Smalls is very much onto something with this. You had the weirdest Mike McCarthy take that makes all the sense in the world, which is that everything points towards them blaming Mike McCarthy, and then Mike McCarthy stays in the headlines all year, and then they give him an extension after the year.
Correct.
I think you're dead on that. That's what I'm voting for that.
Thank you. Mike McCarthy is a very good football coach. He has put the Dallas Cowboys in a good position to win. Of course, the postseason has been a disappointment. He works well with Dak. Dak is on the record saying how much Mike McCarthy has influenced this uptick in performance we've seen from him. This is what the Dallas Cowboys do. I am now not listening to a word they say. I'm only viewing their actions. And their actions are all of this drama, all of these headlines, patience, and ultimately getting the deal done and doing the right thing.
And retroactively hurting yourself. Because extending Mike McCarthy after the season actually hurts this season.
Of course.
Because of the mentality around it. Extending Dak and CD when you did hurt this season because they don't have as much money to go out and get guys.
Right.
Here's my problem with what you're saying. You're saying Mike McCarthy works well with Dak Prescott. And I get that the statistics show that, like Dak is leading the league in passing. That's all well and good. But you got blown out in back-to-back home games. And this is coming off of a year that ended with you getting blown out at home to the youngest playoff roster in 50 years. If you keep getting blown out like that at home, Jerry Jones ain't going to have no choice but to pivot and go to a new head coach.
But think about how patient he was with Jason Garrett, whose results comparatively were pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, but I don't know that you've been getting embarrassed as consistently at home under Jason Garrett as the Cowboys have been getting embarrassed with Mike McCarthy.
I have to interrupt you.
What's up?
And I don't mean to, but you called someone out. And that person's going to join us next.
Yes!
On Sportsman
Let's do
on
it!
ESPN Radio.
It's a Big Ten showdown in the Coliseum.
Yeah, that's how I get by.
The Wisconsin Badgers head into their conference opener against the 13th-ranked USC Trojans. Coverage begins Saturday at 3 Eastern, with kickoff at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
Lord, that's how I get by.
What's up, y'all? This is Drewski, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. When my lineup hits, I can get my money in less than 15 minutes.
Right now, Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks Daily Fantasy app and use code OT. That's code OT on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Jason Alexander, or as you probably know me, Royal Flusher 25 from WSOP Free-to-Play app. WSOP players, I have some free chips just for you. Go hit the tables like the legends you are. Download the WSOP Free-to-Play app, where you can win rings and bracelets and tournaments and show them off to everyone at the table.
If you love poker, play poker with 1 million extra chips using this promo code, WSOPFREE1M.
When we're back in our hometown, Baymont by Wyndham feels like a home away from home. At check-in, we get a cookie and a warm welcome. We earn Wyndham Rewards points on our qualified stay. Our room always has a comfortable spot to curl up and free Wi-Fi to stay in touch. We start our day with a free hot breakfast before reuniting with some old friends. With over 500 locations to choose from, come on in to Baymont, a trusted brand by Wyndham. Get the lowest price at wyndhamhotels.com.
Well, here we are again, and I got to tell you, Jim, this match has me really concerned.
Here we have a powerful heavyweight, a train, weighing in at 6,000 tons. And this hasty lightweight challenger, a car, at just 1.5 tons.
This does not bode well for the car, or the people in it.
It's no contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. See tracks, think train.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football. It's a pepper thing.
ESPN.
Unsportsmanlike.
Wait a minute! Whoa!
Hot take alert.
Smoking hot!
Go to red alert. I am concerned about the version of Joe Burrow that we're going to see from now until the end of his career, because this wrist injury is something that we don't have a lot of history with quarterbacks being able to bounce back from in the NFL. We just haven't seen it. So I am not going to believe it until I see it. And that's why, sitting here today, I'm selling all the Bengals stock, and I'm selling all my Joe Burrow stock.
Those comments made by our very own Chris Canty. That was a week or two ago, followed up today with a lot of critique around Joe Burrow.
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
That was right after they lost to the New England Patriots.
Well, that has been received with some pushback. Louis Riddick, Chris Fowler, and our next guest, Dan Orlovsky, did a phenomenal job last night calling the Jags and the Bills Monday Night Football.
Outstanding
ESPN.
job. Outstanding.
And Dan Orlovsky is a supporter of Joe Burrow's play, and he joins us now to, I think, have some fun with CC. First off, congrats on Monday Night Football, and great job last night, Dan. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. No, it's a great crew to be a part of. I mean, Chris is unbelievable. I mean, I told him when DeMar got that interception last night, you know, and Chris has the call, I got lost in his call. I was like, that was one of the best calls I've ever heard in relation to anything. And Louis is unbelievable and so smart and just such a pro. And Ruddy's amazing. So no, it's pretty sick to be a part of. I'm very grateful for that.
All right, and the Chris he's talking about, of course, is not Canty. That's now let's get to
Canty.
Let's get into Canty. Go ahead, Dan. What is your issue with CC today?
I mean, to sit here and pin 0-3 on Joe Burrow is ludicrous. It's absolutely asinine, Chris. I love you. I got a lot of love for you. Fantastic. That is a ridiculous thing to say. Coming off of last night when he scored 30, I think 33.
Mm-hmm.
And threw for 350. It's a ridiculous thing to pin on the quarterback.
Okay, I don't understand why it's so ridiculous when Joe Burrow had those empty red zone trips in the first half. I mean, I think it was the last 3 possessions they had in the first half. They ended up with 3 field. Hold on. They ended up. Dan. Hold on, Dan. Hold on, Dan. Hold on. Let me finish. They had 3 field goal attempts. They converted on 2 of them. The difference in the game was the red zone. Jaden Daniels outplayed Joe Burrow last night, especially in the red zone. So, like in a gotta have it situation. Joe Burrow, a veteran-laden team that has championship aspirations, they got outplayed by a rookie quarterback from the Washington Commanders. That is a fact.
So number one, it's the worst pass defense in the last season and a half in football. Okay, so Joe Burrow doesn't play in the secondary. Let's go over the drive. Okay, so I got home at 3 a.m. and I watched the tape at like 6:30. Number one, first drive of the game, they go down and he throws the bomb touchdown to Jamar.
Yep.
The second drive of the game, he throws a fade to Mike Gesicki on the left side. This is their second drive on 3rd down, and he drops it. It's versus man coverage, and he drops it. On that drive, they kick a field goal, and they miss it. On their 3rd drive, they go right down the field. They get 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. They drop back to pass, and Trent Brown, their right tackle, gets absolutely ran through by Dexter Fowler in less than 1 second, and it's a sack. Trent Brown gets hurt on the play. They go from 1st and goal on the 8, and in 1 second, their 2nd goal on the 14. There's absolutely nothing any quarterback is doing in that situation. There's that field goal. 4th drive of the first half, they go into a 2-minute drill, and he drives them down, and they get a field goal. That's the 4 drives in the first half. The next 3 drives, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. That's how the game ends. What drives are we want to put on?
I just told you, Dan. I just told you the drives. Joe Burrow, for all of the great stats that you wanted to throw out there, he was 2 of 7 in the red zone last night. He had a 25 QBR. Like they can't all be on the offensive line. They can't all be on his receivers. And since we want to pin the blame on the defense in last night's game, who the hell do you want to blame for the first game when they lost to the New England Patriots, where their defense only allowed 16 points? Like Dan, we're sitting here making all of these excuses for Joe Burrow and why the team is 0-3. No, it sounds like excuses, Dan. Like nobody is doing enough in Cincinnati, and the quarterback has to be included in that.
But okay, so here's the thing: if you wanted to say something about Week 1, and I said Week 1 Joe didn't play well, then say it about Week 1.
But that was the take, Dan. That was the take. Like I said it after Week 1. I'm selling my Bengals stock and I'm selling my Joe Burrow stock, and nothing about my position has changed.
But selling your Joe Burrow stock, there's a difference between saying selling the Joe Burrow stock in Week 1, and that's fine. And I think you were kind of pointing to the wrist injury a little bit more than the play, right? At least that's what it sounds like to me. So I'm not disagreeing with your vantage point of that. Like, hey, this wrist injury, they don't look good Week 1. I'm concerned about it. That's fine. But to come off of scoring 33 and doing basically everything that you could at home and losing to Jaden Daniels, and now to sit here and say Joe's not doing enough, or this is the reason why this football team is 0-3. He's so far from the reason why the football team is 0-3. There's teams that are 0-3, and you could pin a lot of it on quarterback play not being good enough. It's certainly not off of night when you score 33. You score on basically every possession, and you throw for 350. I mean, come on.
Well, Dan, with all that being said, how are you feeling about the Bengals right now as a whole? Do you think that this is something that they can somehow dig their way out of?
I think it's unrealistic to sit here and say in that conference, the depth that it has, 0-3, you're going to dig yourself out of it. If you can pull off the miracle, that's amazing. We called the Jags-Bills game last night, like we talked about it. I said it was a must-win for Jacksonville. Obviously, that didn't happen just because you got to keep yourself afloat. I think, number one, I still don't love their offensive philosophy. And, Chris, that's why week one I went after them. I said this offense was dead. So I don't disagree with you in that regard. The right tackle position is a problem now. And then I think that the defense is not nearly what it was when they were going. And Lewis said this last night, they get up for one game defensively, it feels like right now. And that's when they play Patrick Mahomes. Other than that, teams are having their ways with them. So I do not see them being capable of pulling themselves out of the 0-3 hole and getting into the playoffs now.
Dan, I want to pivot really quickly and ask you about what you saw from the Buffalo Bills last night. It seems like we're getting a different version of Josh Allen. And if that's what your eyes see, is this version of Josh Allen going to give the Buffalo Bills the best chance to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC?
Yeah, it's the best and most complete offense he's been a part of, the most balanced offense he's been a part of, Chris. I'd say it's the best offensive line he's had. And really, Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator, has done a remarkable job of, and we're all talking about the focus of that offense is that line. And he's taken all these plays that are super simple, Chris, you know this, and he's just making them look super pretty. And he's taking the simple and making it look complicated. Now, Josh is a wagon right now, dude. I mean, he is the stuff that he is doing, we've seen, but I feel the control and the ease in which he's doing it right now is different. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best offensive performance I think I've seen this year from a football team that first half.
Dan Orlovsky, ESPN NFL analyst, NFL Live, Monday Night Football last night. Great stuff. We appreciate
friend of the show, friend of Unsportsmanlike.
We sure after
love
today?
You guys,
friend
you
of the
guys
show,
are absolutely amazing. I love the show. I mean, your take on Joe is ridiculous, but
thank you, Dan.
Well, you can't be right about everything, Dan.
I can't in my mind, man. I can't in my mind.
Dan Orlovsky, how about that? It just gets home at 3 and he's watching the tape of the other game at 6:30.
What a pro!
Well done.
He's a machine, man.
Well done, Dan Orlovsky, part of Monday Night Football last night, NFL Live today. There's a lot to digest from what he just said. Plus, how good is this Bills team? We'll talk about it next on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get more of the NFL with NFL Plus Premium and start streaming more touchdowns, more hurdles, more action.
Breaks a tackle, he's gone!
NFL Plus Premium has your game day covered with NFL Red Zone, game replays, live local and primetime games on mobile, and more. The action doesn't stop there. Also, stream NFL Network 24/7, including 7 exclusive live games this season. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com. Subscription required for NFL Plus Premium. Terms and conditions apply.
College football fans, what's the best part of being at a game live? The color. There's nothing more exciting than seeing an entire stadium completely decked out in your team's colors. So why not add to that and put yourself right in the middle of it all? Because that color encompasses everything, from the tailgating and the fight songs to the marching band halftime shows. So let your true colors show and get ready to yell and cheer until you're blue in the face by scoring tickets today at Ticketmaster. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com.
Every fan knows the right player in the right position can be a game changer. Put LifeLock between your identity and identity thieves to monitor and alert you to threats you could miss. Plus, with a U.S.-based restoration specialist on your team, you won't have to face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or other losses from identity theft alone. All backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package. Change the game on identity theft. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/sports.
We are back, and we are looking at a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train.
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. See tracks? Think train.
Hey, just the socks. Thanks.
Great. Name, birthday, email address, shipping address, billing address. How many fire hydrants do you see? How'd you hear about us? Can we text you?
Forget it.
If your online store doesn't use Shopify for checkout, your customers will just, check out. Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other leading e-commerce platforms. That means fewer abandoned carts and more for your business. So switch to Shopify at shopify.com/play and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/play.
We're brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like how you'd check that you've got your tickets first before heading to the game. Or like how you'd check you've downloaded the latest episodes of your favorite podcasts before hitting the road. Checking first is smart, and it's easy. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. Because with Allstate, you get reliable coverage and great protection. And while both can save a football game, they can also save your wallet. Visit allstate.com or call a local agent today to see how much you can save. You're in good hands with Allstate. Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Is it just me? Or does it sound like the universe is sending a message? I be rocking Tommy John. Maybe it's time to really listen.
Tommy John.
To Tommy John. Tommy John. Tommy John underwear has dozens of comfort innovations like outrageously soft, lightweight fabrics that can keep you 2 to 3 times cooler than regular cotton.
Tommy John, Tommy John.
With thousands of 5-star reviews and over 20 million pairs sold, people love Tommy John. One Tommy John fanatic raves, love the summer weight and breathable fabrics. Just the right support. And everything's backed by Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or it's free guarantee. Shop Tommy John now for huge summer savings. Get 25% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/stream. Save 25% at TommyJohn.com/stream. See site for details.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Unsportsmanlike.
Wait a minute! Whoa!
Hot take alert.
Smoking hot!
Go to red alert. I am concerned about the version of Joe Burrow that we're going to see from now until the end of his career, because this wrist injury is something that we don't have a lot of history with quarterbacks being able to bounce back from in the NFL. We just haven't seen it. So I am not going to believe it until I see it. And that's why, sitting here today, I'm selling all the Bengals stock, and I'm selling all my Joe Burrow stock.
Sisu, do you feel better about today being right about your Joe Burrow take or more about your Miami Dolphins take? I know it stinks with Tua being injured, but you were saying that this Dolphins team wasn't going to have a chance this year anyway.
No, I feel like I can hang on the rim with the Bengals take a little bit more than the Dolphins take, just because everybody and their mama said not to worry about the Cincinnati Bengals because they always get out to a slow start. Ain't that what we heard of?
Oh, I said
the Bengals do this all the time. Oh, they start out 0-2 all the time. They started out 1-3 last year.
There's a lot of season left.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, I'm about to say you still holding on to that stock. You still holding on to that stock like Bitcoin.
I think I still have my AMC stock from years ago. I've been known to hang on to stock a little too long.
We were kicking around the idea, like, if this was any other quarterback, say, for instance, this was Dak Prescott, same stat lines as Joe Burrow, but the team was over. Or even better yet, Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts got to a Super Bowl.
Sure.
Say it was the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts got the same exact stat line as Joe Burrow, but the Eagles don't have a win on the season. And they lost to a rookie quarterback in his third start. The outrage and the criticism that we would have for Jalen Hurts would be on another level than what people are doing right now to Joe Burrow. I don't understand why that is. I don't get it.
It is interesting. When you think about last night, we had 2 Monday Night Football games. The Bills looked awesome, arguably the best team in the league outside of the Chiefs. Josh Allen, arguably the MVP so far. The Jaguars, former number 1 overall pick, and Trevor Lawrence, disaster. Have lost 8 straight starts, 0-3 on the season. The Commanders get a win with a rookie quarterback who looked phenomenal. Only 2 incompletions last night for Jaden Daniels. And yet the story comes back to the Cincinnati Bengals because Joe Burrow was the guy outside of Patrick Mahomes. We would always have the argument, okay, leave Mahomes to the side. who you got, right? Who's the top quarterback in the league outside of Patrick Mahomes? And it feels like for the last few years there was a little bit of debate between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. There is no justification right now to put anybody but Josh Allen number 2, and Joe Burrow, I don't know how low you're willing to go on where he ranks.
I'm not putting him above Josh Allen. And I'm not putting him above a guy that has 2 MVPs in the trophy case already in Lamar Jackson.
And you're not putting him above C.J. Stroud, which I'm right.
Even though he's been to a Super Bowl?
Even though he's been to a Super Bowl, I'm not putting him above Lamar Jackson.
Okay, so would you put him above C.J. Stroud?
Lamar Jackson's career, if it ended today, he would be in Canton.
Agreed.
We can't say the same thing about Joe Burrow, so
Fair.
I'm not going to do that.
Fair.
Stroud?
And here's the other thing. Since we're talking about Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, in a must-win game in Week 3, what happened? I mean, the Baltimore Ravens went on the road and beat what I think is a better team in the Dallas Cowboys relative to the Washington Commanders. They got it done in impressive fashion. The Cincinnati Bengals underwhelmed once again. I don't know, and I know you're asking me about where I'm putting C.J. Stroud in comparison to Joe Burrow. I don't have the answer to that. And I don't want to be disrespectful to what Joe has accomplished in his career, because he's went to conference championship games. He's beaten the Kansas City Chiefs on his way to the Super Bowl, even though he lost. Like, he has done some things in this league. I mean, when he's fully healthy, there are a few quarterbacks that can spin it better than Joe Burrow. Like, I'm not taking that away from him. But if all of those things are true, if he, in fact, is an elite quarterback, then why is his team sitting here at 0-3? Nobody has the answer to that question for me. Like, he's sitting here. If we're sitting here calling quarterback the most important position in all of team sports, and we're saying Joe Burrow is absolutely elite, why is his team 0-3? Why does his team lose at home to the New England Patriots and the Washington Commanders with a rookie quarterback? Well, everybody can understand why you lose on the road in Arrowhead. I get that one. I understand that. That's tough for anybody.
Yeah, but that was actually their best game.
Yeah, that was actually their best game. But why do you turn around after playing that well in Arrowhead, in a game that you could have and should have won, and you lose at home to the Washington Commanders?
Can we rewind the clock for a second? I wonder if there's a through line and a coincidence on something.
What's up?
The holdouts that we saw in training camp, the issues in and around contracts in training camp, the most prevalent ones, just off the top of your head, what do you remember? Which ones? Chase?
Ayuk?
CD?
CD?
Is there something to that? That the vibe, the culture around the team is kind of thrown off a little bit because it actually goes into when it's not business season, when it's football season. There is a business season. And you could say, well, all year round is business season. Of course it is. But when you start playing football, the thought process probably from most teams is that's when we're going to focus on the football part.
Yeah.
Right? I look through always the eyes through the prism of Belichick, of course. I know I'm warped by that. But in this case, I think it works. There is an argument to say if we don't reach an agreement with player X by the time training camp starts, we're actually doing ourselves a disservice by continuing this into the season. And unfortunately, we may be better off by removing this person, even if the person is right in their request, for the sake of the good of the team. Theoretically, if Jamar Chase was traded before the season, I'm not suggesting the Bengals would definitely be better. I'm suggesting a decision would be made about the business to allow for the football to be the football. There is still the business season going on in Cincinnati. There are still multiple players, I think 3, right? 2 wide receivers, 1 defensive end.
No doubt.
That are not thrilled with the business part of football as they're in football season, not in business season.
And you wonder, as they get further and further removed from what we thought would be a championship contending season for them, if those guys that are frustrated with the business part of football don't start making decisions that are in their best interest relative to sacrificing for what the team might need at a given point.
Sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we always talk about business decisions and, you know, trying to put together a team and having that versus 53 independent contractors. Like, I wonder how the Cincinnati Bengals locker room responds after they've underwhelmed in the way that they have in the early going.
I'm interested to see how they respond too, and if we should give them the benefit of the doubt for the slow starts, because this is very textbook Cincinnati Bengals Joe Burrow. Maybe not 0-3, but still. But I guess that's everything you guys are saying. I'm hearing. I know that you sold your Joe Burrow stock, so we're focusing a lot on that today because you're taking your victory lap in a lot of ways. And there are concerns with the Bengals. Evan, your point about the holdouts in the offseason and could that be disruptive? Great point as well. Which is why I don't know why we're not focusing more on Trevor Lawrence and how he looked last night with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Because I can look at the Bengals and still make a case for Joe Burrow and his performance last night. I can look to other reasons why maybe this slow start is a little different than the others. I don't know what to make of Trevor Lawrence and his performance and the 0-3 Jacksonville Jaguars.
So let's redraft for a fake expansion team right now. We have the first pick, and there's 2 players eligible for the expansion draft. One is Joe Burrow, one is Trevor Lawrence. You have them for the next 5 years. Who are you taking?
Burrow, no question.
Burrow.
That's the least confident statement I've ever heard you make.
I can hear you thinking injuries.
That's the thing. The injuries, man, that scares the hell out of me. Like, the one thing about T-Law, I know he's going to be there. Like, he got banged up at the end of last year, and the guy had 3 or 4 different injuries before he sat himself down.
He's tough.
But he's always going to be there.
But do you want him there after last night?
Oh, that's the other part of the game. But, I mean, I guess the highs are so high with Joe Burrow, but it feels like the lows can be low too. Like that's the thing that concerns me. The longevity piece of it concerns me about Joe Burrow. And guess what? It concerns Joe Burrow about Joe Burrow too, because he said as much this offseason.
Yeah, they should have traded all these guys. They should have traded Chase, they should have traded Higgins, and they should have traded Hendrickson.
Why?
Because what they've done is, in essence, get rid of them while still having them. That's worse. T. Higgins ain't coming back after this season.
No, it's done.
Trey Hendrickson is going to be some sort of either restructure or go somewhere else, whatever it is. And Jamar Chase, if he is going to stay there, the portion of salary cap he will take up will be enormous, where they will not be able to plug the rest of the holes that they have on this team.
Yeah.
They should have done what San Francisco did to some extent. Now, I don't agree with all of what San Francisco did, but San Francisco realized, hey, we need the next wave of replacements. Jawan Jennings is awesome. They extended him on a low number. And Cincinnati didn't prepare for the inevitable here.
But you know what? You said something during one of the breaks, and I think it bears repeating. If you got the guy, if he's truly elite, then you don't have to pay all of these receivers.
That's right.
I mean, look at what the Kansas City Chiefs have done. I mean, they traded off Tyreek Hill, and all they've done is win back-to-back championships. Look at what the Buffalo Bills did. Yep. They traded away Steph Diggs. They let Gabe Davis walk in free agency, and we're getting the best version of Josh Allen we've ever seen in the NFL.
That's right.
Like, that's what happens. That's what you're supposed to do. So, I mean, to your point, like, I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, they don't pay receivers. So, I mean, like, so to your point, like, it actually makes sense if you have an elite quarterback to move on from those guys.
Do they think they have an elite quarterback? They paid one in Joe Burrow.
They paid Joe Burrow. Like,
right. Do they believe that he can be that without the best versions of Joe Burrow we have ever seen, and he's been phenomenal at times, only with iconic level players around him. Go look at his LSU team. And I hate to do LSU versus Ohio State, but he didn't play at Ohio State.
Yeah, he had 3 high draft picks at receivers at LSU in that record-setting year. Ev, I think we got more beef with our show and with my take in particular. I think we got some beef from the Get Up crew, Dominique Foxworth.
No.
He's going to get the criticism eventually. I think it's unfair to put it on him now, but I do think, in Canty's defense, that is something that we do to these type of quarterbacks is, all right, you don't have a good defense, then you got to go score for score. And he didn't go score for score. So if you want to go critical on him for that reason, then maybe you can say it somewhat falls on Joe Burrow. But if you are going back to analyze this tape, and the first thing that you do as the coach is go and get in Joe Burrow's face and say, we need more out of you, then, you're watching the wrong footage if that's what you think.
He just agreed with me and then contradicted it.
Well, no, I think that there is something that if you use the Joe Burrow analysis applied to others, I think it's a very interesting thing. Like Brock Purdy, we still question, can he win without everybody else? And he played his butt off on Sunday, and I critiqued him for not winning because he didn't do enough late.
It's funny.
We didn't do that to Joe Burrow, or you did, but not the masses.
You know what's crazy? Because I'm glad you brought up Brock Purdy. I blame the head coach, Kyle Shanahan, for the 49ers losing the Super Bowl more than Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all they had to do was decide to defer at the beginning of overtime, and they could have won the damn game.
Third possession.
Possession. I blame Kyle Shanahan for them not winning a Super Bowl more than I blame Brock Purdy, yet we still have these questions about Brock Purdy. We don't do the same thing with Joe Burrow.
So let me ask you a question, because I think this is now no longer about last night specifically.
Yeah.
There is a level of double standard, dare I say, I think this is where you're going, CC, of why do we not treat Joe Burrow like his peers? Why are we not jumping on him the way we jump on everyone else? Now, someone could sit there and say, we're wrong to jump on everyone else. That's fine. But if we're going to treat him like his peers, what is it just, I'm being serious, is it he's just cooler?
No, it's one word, Mahomes. He beat Mahomes.
But people still, as crazy as it sounds, doubt Brady. And he beat Mahomes twice.
But I think it's because he beat Mahomes in the playoffs, in the conference championship game. Because Josh Allen has beat Mahomes in the regular season.
Yeah, it's in the playoffs.
Yeah, Josh Allen, I think, has a winning record against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. Like, or if it's not a winning record, it's damn close. Like like Josh Allen goes win for win with Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. But I guess because we see Joe Burrow do it in Arrowhead on his way to the Super Bowl, we give him a benefit of the doubt that we don't give to everybody else.
That carries so much weight.
That bothers me. Here's why that bothers me. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, but doesn't that carry so much weight? Because as amazing as Lamar Jackson has been, he hasn't done that. As amazing as Josh Allen has been, he hasn't done that. And those are really the three that we look to as the current challengers to Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, C.J. Stroud is coming. There's other guys that are entering the chat, but those three are the ones that we usually defer to. And Joe Burrow's the one that did it. He did it in the playoffs. He got to a Super Bowl. He did what those other two haven't done and slay that dragon. And I think that carries a lot of weight with how we shape our opinion of that guy.
Understood. All fair. Here's my issue with this. I'd rather be the Boston Celtics and be critiqued for playing no one and root for a title than the Cincinnati Bengals and beat the juggernaut and not win the title. They didn't win the title.
They didn't. That's the thing. We go back in our minds. We're like, okay, he beat Mahomes on his way to a Super Bowl. No, he didn't win the game.
You lost.
The Rams won the game.
I remember it well.
But I'm just saying, you didn't win the title.
You're right.
I'd rather be the team that you get critiqued. Hey, you played no one while I have my ring.
So is it time to dismiss that?
I'm not saying we should dismiss that. We should acknowledge it. But we shouldn't treat winning against the Chiefs in the playoffs as winning a championship. The Rams didn't beat the Chiefs that year. Should we take the title away from them?
I would love to, yes.
Well, okay. Wrong person to ask that to. Coming up, next on Sportsmanlike.
College Football Saturday on ESPN Radio.
Yeah, that's how I get by.
The top-ranked Texas Longhorns head into their first SEC opener against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern with kickoff at 4:15 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
Lord, that's how I get by.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This is an ad from BetterHelp. As kids, we were always learning and growing, but at some point as adults, we tend to lose that sense of curiosity and excitement. Therapy can help you continue that journey, because your back-to-school era can come at any age, and BetterHelp makes it easy to get started with affordable online therapy you can do from anywhere. Rediscover possibility with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/teamwork today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/teamwork.
What's up, y'all? It's Drewski, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. When my lineup hits, I can get my money in less than 15 minutes.
Right now, Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks Daily Fantasy app and use code OT. That's code OT on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Traveling with your furry friends can be rough. Just getting them to come along is difficult enough, so the last thing you want to worry about is finding a place to stay. But when you choose Baymont by Wyndham, your four-legged companions are invited because they know pets are family too. At Baymont by Wyndham, pets are not just welcome, they're VIPs. Baymont by Wyndham. Come on in. So glad you're here. Book now at wyndhamhotels.com/Baymont.
Sim Channel 80.
All the small things.
All the small things.
All the small things with Michelle Smallman.
So, bing bong, indeed. It is time for All the Small Things here on Unsportsmanlike, if I could speak, alongside Evan Cohen and Chris Canty. I am Michelle Smallman, and we are all over the map today, guys, with some small things that have caught my eye in the world of sports over the past few days. But I want to start with this. I want to start with a graphic that we saw last night on Monday Night Football about one Terry McLaurin. After that amazing pass from Jaden Daniels to Terry McLaurin, they were talking about just the quarterback turnover that he's dealt with during his time in Washington since he was drafted there in 2019. Let me read you a list of quarterbacks who have completed a pass to Terry McLaurin.
How many of them are there? Let's see. Can I guess them? Can we guess them?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, no, read them.
Yeah,
Too many.
There's no way
Too
we
many.
can guess all those quarterbacks.
Wow.
I took a screenshot of this last night. I literally whipped out my phone and took a picture of the television because I could not believe this list, because I think this is the perfect snapshot of how he's been productive during this time and how unstable the quarterback position has been in Washington. So obviously Jaden Daniels right now, Jacoby Brissett, Sam Howell, Carson Wentz, Garrett Gilbert, Taylor Heineke, St. Louis Battlehawks legend, Kyle Allen, Dwayne Haskins, Case Keenum, Alex Smith, and Colt McCoy.
You want to talk about the definition of professionalism? That would be one Terry McLaurin.
I could not believe this list. I completely agree, CC. He has been productive during a crazy turnover in Washington.
Yeah, and he got out to a slow start before last night, and what you heard from him was saying it doesn't make any sense for me to throw fits and to throw tantrums because that doesn't help Jaden Daniels. So for him to be self-aware enough to understand what the organization is trying to do with the development of their quarterback and their program building under a new head coach, I mean, that just speaks volumes about the sports character of Terry McLaurin. And we don't talk a lot about that when we start talking about some of the best players, especially some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. But shout out to Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, because he's been nothing but a model citizen since he showed up to the Washington Commanders.
No doubt.
Ohio State, wide receiver U. I don't know if there's any question about that. The amount of wide receivers they have.
LSU got a case to be made now.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
LSU got a case.
Top heavy. Well, I guess now with neighbors in the mix.
They got a case to be made now. LSU got they got a bunch of receivers, man.
No doubt.
I mean,
Jamar,
going back to Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good receivers out of Ohio State too.
Yeah,
they got another one in the pipeline.
That they do.
Well, let's stick in. We'll just make this a little shout-out corner. We're shouting out Terry McLaurin. We're talking about Big Ten teams. Let's shout out my Illinois Fighting Illini. We didn't give them enough love yesterday, as far as I'm concerned. A big overtime win on Friday night to Nebraska. They were number 24, jumping up in the rankings to number 19. Illinois Fighting Illini, ranked in the top 25.
I mean, we have to have Coach Bielema on every time they get ready to play a ranked opponent now, right?
Yes, I would love that.
I mean, it feels like that's what we need to do. I mean, they got number 9 Penn State coming up. I mean, we'll see about that. I mean, like that's going to be exciting. So,
one Nuno has something to say to you.
Go ahead.
Do it this week. Let's see it. Do it this week. Beat Penn State. James Franklin hasn't won a big game, so you got a good shot.
So you're telling me that you're not impressed by their record so far?
No, I am impressed.
Okay,
I'm glad they won. It was the reason we put them on last week because I didn't think they would have won.
Good.
I mean, they've already beaten 2 top 25 ranked opponents.
That's right.
So we do have to have them on this week then, right?
Open door policy as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, God,
Let's have them on. Let's have them on this week.
I mean, you beat Nebraska and you beat Kansas.
You're the one that called her a
State.
jinx. You're the one that called her a jinx.
Do I need to be reminded of this?
You're the one that did this.
He was coaching my school, and now he's not as successful. He's successful at another school. I don't need to be reminded of that, Bielema.
Yeah, but
Why can't you just revel in my joy?
Be happy for her.
Do you think I should
go
how
to the
long
Rutgers? It's been since Illinois football
Washington
has had
game
moments like this? Sure, I might go to the Rutgers-Illinois game. See Chris Carlin, friend of the show, friend in life.
Rutgers, Washington, Friday night in Jersey. My friend is the AD at Washington. I've made the point to friends. This is now to get the invite. I'll only go if I'm in his suite. Anyway, go ahead, Smalls.
Friday Night Lights. That sounds like a
And I think Coach Belichick will be there. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, this is another quick shout out to round out the shout out corner here on Small Things. I just want to give a shout out to Charlie Blackmon, Rocky's icon legend. He announced yesterday that it's going to be the final game of his 14-year career. Will be on Sunday. And he's one of those guys that was one of my favorite baseball players for a long time. 4-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, NL batting champion, and the NL triples leader, both back in 2017. Joey Votto's out of baseball, Charlie Blackmon, some of my favorites from the game. Moving on, but he's one of those guys that I always thought was such a great player, such a face of that franchise, and had endured some tough times there.
Better Charlie Blackmon stuff, his hair or his beard?
Got to go with the beard.
He's got great both.
The beard is Hall of Fame worthy. Will he get a Hall call at some point?
We'll see. Number retired for the Rockies for sure.
Oh yeah, Ring of Honor guy for sure.
Charlie Blackmon is good enough to be in the Hall of Fame, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just asking the question.
No, I wouldn't have guessed that he would even be hovering. That's a good job by you. I would never even have thought that.
Okay, this is another thing that I wanted to bring up regarding baseball. In the past month, I've been to a game at Yankee Stadium, and I've been to a Mets game at Citi Field. And I could not be more surprised at the stark difference in environments in both of these ballparks. Going to Yankee Stadium felt like going to church. Going to Citi Field felt like going to the club. It was a totally different environment. There's like a gravitas and seriousness that kind of surrounds Yankee Stadium. You're like, wow, I'm going to see a Yankees game. The Mets do an unbelievable job with their in-game stuff, the pregame, the lights, the music. It literally feels like you're at the club. It was awesome.
Yeah, Citi Field is a great place to watch a baseball game. Like, I mean, not for nothing, I'm a Yankees fan, and I will say this. The new Citi Field trumps new Yankee Stadium.
Oh, without a doubt.
No, not even close. No question about it. Now, I know we got a lot of Mets fans around the building, Evan Cohen included.
Yeah.
And Mets fans wait with bated breath when it comes to what happens to their team in the postseason. Because it feels like they're all waiting for that other shoe to drop. So we do need to do a wellness check on you and the other Met fans. How are we feeling about this team's prospects when it comes to October?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll fall apart, and everybody will get hurt, and somehow won't allow fans.
Everybody will get hurt, including the fans. They'll have broken hearts.
It's unbelievable. Tonight, by the way, the game is on ESPN Radio here, 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time, first pitch between the Braves and the Mets.
Love that. All right, last thing, guys. Excuse me. We mentioned
you choking is the last thing.
A little bit. We mentioned it very briefly yesterday, but I wanted to drill in on this. Derrick Henry's diet that we were made aware of in the broadcast on the game this weekend. We love food here on this show, but you love Tom Brady maybe more than you love a sweet treat, Evan. I don't know. I don't know what's 1 and 2 in the power rankings there. But we know that Tom Brady famously loves his diet. He takes it very seriously. Derrick Henry kind of going down the TB12 method here. No fried food, no dairy, no gluten, no artificial sugars, and he doesn't eat until 4 or 5 in the evening doing that little intermittent fasting, unless maybe he has a banana or an avocado before practice. Do we think that any of us on this set could be this disciplined and follow the Derrick Henry diet?
No chance.
No shot. I love food way too much.
We all love food. Do you love food more than you love Tom Brady?
I was just nervous you were going to say something else, like my wife or something. I'm like,
no. We know that.
Yeah, of course.
Food more than Tom Brady?
Yeah, of course.
Now, my wife is of the opinion that nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
I feel that.
I completely disagree with that, though.
Boy, what a great line.
Oh, you never heard that? A moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips?
That's good. Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
It is so true.
Wouldn't know.
Let me tell you what I'll never find out. What skinny feels like.
I'll tell you what.
Does that feel?
When you put your pants on and they're a little tight, that's a bad day.
That's a bad.
Are there days where that doesn't happen?
Some days.
For me, I don't know what that feels like.
Exactly.
And now I have to wear tablecloths.
Gotta have elastic in my jeans.
So no, none of us could do the Derrick Henry diet?
No chance. Nah. Oh, you could.
I think I could do it.
You've done stuff like that.
You did 75 hard.
Yeah, but I don't know if I didn't eliminate all of this. I had
Rob
no
could.
fried food.
Rob eats weird food. Our social and digital guy. I feel like Rob could do it.
You know what? Rob could do it.
Rob
I believe Rob could do it too. Can Nuno do it?
I was going to say Nuno.
Do we think Nuno can do it?
I don't actually know what Nuno eats. I know he doesn't eat poor food, but I don't know what the good food is that he does eat.
Well, I stay away from a lot of bad carbs. So like pasta, fries.
Everything I love.
Yeah, everything that's good for you.
So could you do the Derrick Henry diet?
The problem is the intermittent fasting. Like I do that, but it's when I stop eating at like 5 o'clock at night, and I don't eat till 5 o'clock in the morning, but there's sleeping involved, or else I would be screwed. So no.
All right. Well,
should that be a punishment? If somebody has a bad take or makes a wager, they have to do the Derrick Henry diet for a whole week?
Worst take that we've had.
There is zero chance that I could do it. Like, I'm just telling you, I could not do it. So, I mean, we can make it a bet. I will fail immediately. I'd rather eat mayonnaise.
Okay.
Ugh.
I'd rather eat the 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise than do the Derrick Henry diet.
I think I could go a week of doing the Derrick Henry diet if it meant I didn't have to have 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise.
Same. The thought of the mayo
mayonnaise,
would push me through.
I would not be well, Ev. I would not be well for days on end.
I couldn't do the other one. Could not do the other one. Well, Derrick Henry's on the Ravens because one team couldn't afford him. We'll discuss that team next. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
The hunt for October continues on ESPN Radio. The final week of the regular season is here, and 2 teams in the thick of the race for the final 2 National League playoff spots go head-to-head. When the Braves welcome the Mets, coverage begins today and tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, with first pitch at 7:20 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats, too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is it just me? Or does it sound like the universe is sending a message?
I be rocking Tommy John.
Maybe it's time to really listen.
Tommy John.
To Tommy John. Tommy John.
Tommy John underwear has dozens of comfort innovations like outrageously soft, lightweight fabrics that can keep you 2 to 3 times cooler than regular cotton.
Tommy John, Tommy John.
With thousands of 5-star reviews and over 20 million pairs sold, people love Tommy John. One Tommy John fanatic raves, love the summer weight and breathable fabrics. Just the right support. And everything's backed by Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or it's free guarantee. Shop Tommy John now for huge summer savings. Get 25% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/stream. Save 25% at TommyJohn.com/stream. See site for details.
We are back, and we are looking at a pretty lopsided matchup, Jim.
That's right, Ron. I mean, in one corner, we've got a 175-pound guy, and in the other, a 6,000-ton heavyweight train?
Jim, this guy has no idea what he's getting himself into.
It's no contest. Every day, people tempt fate and die trespassing on railroad tracks. See tracks? Think train.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football. It's a pepper thing.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada?
Yes, please. Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/play and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/play.
College football fans, what's the best part of being at a game live? The color. There's nothing more exciting than seeing an entire stadium completely decked out in your team's colors. So why not add to that and put yourself right in the middle of it all? Because that color encompasses everything, from the tailgating and the fight songs to the marching band halftime shows. So let your true colors show and get ready to yell and cheer until you're blue in the face by scoring tickets today at Ticketmaster. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com.
Every fan knows the right player in the right position can be a game changer. Put LifeLock between your identity and identity thieves to monitor and alert you to threats you could miss. Plus, with a U.S.-based restoration specialist on your team, you won't have to face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or other losses from identity theft alone. All backed by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package.